But what about the hard things, the places where we are prone to disagreement, say politics and religion? Well, as it turns out, not only does Wikipedia's model work there, it actually works really well. Because in our normal lives, these contentious conversations tend to erupt over disagreement about what the truth actually is. But the people who write these articles, they're not focused on the truth. They're focused on something else, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years of working with these brilliant folks, I've come to believe that they are onto something, that perhaps for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth might not be the right place to start. In fact, our reverence for the truth might be a distraction that's getting in the way of finding common ground and getting things done. Now, that is not to say that the truth doesn't exist, nor is it to say that the truth isn't important. Clearly, the search for the truth has led us to do great things, to learn great things. But I think if I were to really ask you to think about this, one of the things that we could all acknowledge is that part of the reason we have such glorious chronicles to the human experience in all forms of culture is because we acknowledge there are many different truths. And so in the spirit of that, I'm certain that the truth exists for you.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talks Kenny here today. As you saw from the intro, that was the NPR CEO, the one that Yuri says that is a step in the wrong direction. Because recently, Twitter, X, people online, they do their research now, right? And if you're going to come and chastise your veteran reporter who's been working there for 25 years while you as a new CEO just got there 3 weeks ago, I think you want to listen to your veteran reporter when he tells you something. Hey, I think we're going in the wrong direction. Hey, here's the case for why I think we have lost the trust of America. And what did they decide to do? What did NPR decide to do? Because I'm giving an update. I usually don't do follow-up stories. Usually I let you guys kind of track it yourselves. But I want to do a follow-up on this story because this proves this theory that I always have that, hey, look, I've been saying this. If you've been following my channel for a long time, let me know in the comment section how long you've been following this channel. But have I not been saying that journalist is the most liberal profession in the world? I always show this thing here. If you're new to this channel, this is the claim that a conservative journalist is an endangered species in journalism. Journalism is the most left-wing profession. They overwhelmingly donate to Democrats. They're overwhelmingly registered as liberals, but they pretend that their bias doesn't get in the way. Yeah, just like the Google AI employees pretend that their bias didn't get in the way. And what happened to the generative AI? Wait, what happened to Gemini AI again? Oh yeah, George Washington was a black man. Okay. These people don't even observe their own bias, right? And they always talk about how they want a diverse workplace, but they only want a superficial diversity. They only want people who look different but all think the same. It's better to have a group of people that all look the same but think differently than a people that look differently but all think the same. That's just my thought, because I believe more in unifying ideas than unifying based on things that you had no control over in the first place. But I digress. NPR suspends editor who accused network of bias, issues his final warning. I think all this stuff only further damages NPR. NPR has suspended Yuri Barliner, after he publicly accused the network of espousing left-wing biases with an essay that began a media firestorm. Last week, Bernard received a letter that informed him of a 5-day suspension without pay beginning Friday, according to a report by NPR's media correspondent David Folkenflik. NPR told Barliner that he failed to follow the network's rules and got approval for outside work for news outlets after his essay for the Free Press and follow-up interviews. How convenient, right? Does this sound like the lady that started off in the TED Talk in the intro talking about truth is subjective and we all can learn from each other? What have you learned from this? What has she learned from this? She just slanders them. She said, "Oh, this is unfair and demeaning." Barnard was also accused of publicly releasing proprietary information about the audience demographic that NPR considered confidential per the report. How is exposing your demographics confidential information? Probably it is. Who knows? But we all know who watches NPR. We all know who reads the mainstream media. If you look at polls, Democrats are more likely to trust mainstream media than any other political group. They trust the media more than independents do. They trust the media more than Republicans do. Independents and Republicans, two separate groups, do not trust the mainstream media, but only one group trusts the mainstream media that also happens to have a majority liberal bias, that also happens to have no Republicans, journalists, no conservative journalists in its ranks, or if they do, is a minority. Oh, isn't it a coincidence? Democrats happen to trust other Democrats more than other people. And then they pretend, oh, I trust the science. I trust the facts. When there's studies that show that most experts on misinformation, disinformation are heavily left-wing. But you still want to pretend that your network doesn't have a bias. And your own CEO, the head of your company, the face of your company, is exactly what Berliner said you guys were pushing. Maybe he didn't want to work for her anymore and get more into the story because he resigned as well. But we'll get more into that. I want you guys to get the synopsis and then we'll just blow through the headlines. The letter, which also called a final warning, said Berliner would be fired for another policy violation. He said, F that. Berliner, a due-paying member of the NPR's newsroom union, told Folkkinvik that he would not appeal the punishment because he already planned to resign. He claims the figures discussed in his essay was essentially marketing material. If they had been really good, they would have distributed them and sent them out to the world. Berliner conceded that he did not get permission to speak with Folkkinvik, but he said that he thought it would be extraordinary if he was fired for speaking to an NPR journalist. The Free Press published the essay on Tuesday, which made headlines last week. Berliner argued NPR lost Americans' trust, not just NPR, but many digital media, left-wing media, mainstream media, because of the facts that I just laid out before. They build up top of each other, that these liberal journalists are trying to disguise their bias and try to pretend that they're objective. I think the most honest thing these media outlets can do is confirm, hey, look, this is my perspective. This is a liberal perspective on this news. Here's some other sources if you want to counterbalance. This is why all these news things like NewsGuard are coming out. NewsGround is coming out. This idea, like, these people want to maintain their credibility. Remember a long time ago with PBS, NPR, they got mad because Elon Musk decided to put the state-affiliated media tag on Twitter, on X, sorry. And you saw how mad they got. It's because this is the typical ways that liberals, this is a liberal problem, progressives, people on the left, they like to do. They like to pretend that they're somehow more enlightened than you, that they just see the truth. They see stuff better than you. They just live in reality. And then when you question them, oh, how can a man be a woman? Oh, what matters? It matters how you feel, right? These sweet sounding words, they love, like, liberals are the masters of that. They love to market bad ideas as some noble, virtuous thing to pursue, when all they're really pushing for is discrimination, ideological discrimination. Oh, you're a conservative? Oh, we don't want to represent you. Our 25-year veteran just told us that, hey, our newsroom is just too dominated by one ideology. No. We report with integrity despite our biases. Even though, if you look at the news, 87% of the news covered Trump unfavorably, more than any other president in our history since we started tracking this stuff. But you're not reporting with a bias. You're not framing information in a certain way to guide people to a certain perspective. I let you make the judge of that, because this is what I want my channel to be. You think for yourself. This is just my opinions. This is just my framings. And this is the information that I'm basing my opinions on. And all I do is say, what you think, what information you got counter to me, leave it in the comment section. Because I'm learning here just as much as anyone else. But it seems like they lack this humility. His critics touched on the topic related to President Donald Trump, NPR's COVID coverage, reporting on transgender issue, audiences, figures, the network's own level of diversity, and more. Berliner additionally wrote about how he tried to make some of his concerns known internally. He said no one ever trashed him, but he was repeatedly brushed off and nothing changed. Typical liberal way of handling disagreements. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're a conspiracy theory. Didn't I guys show you a stat also that Democrat women, because I'm starting to think it's not Democrat, man. I'm sorry I gave you guys a lot of hard times. Bill Maher's of the world, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. It's the liberal women that is the biggest perpetrator of this stuff that I'm talking about here. Now, liberal men still do this stuff, but they'll actually try to engage with you at least. Liberal women, notoriously known to block people of opposite political opinions. Liberal women are notoriously to known that, hey, they wouldn't even date you. You could be the perfect man for them. But if you voted for Trump, you consider voting for Trump, you even a conservative, they will not date you. Liberal women are saying this. I don't hear liberal men saying they won't date a conservative woman. It's liberal women saying this stuff. And I have the stats to back it up. Democrat women are more likely to block a friend if they reveal an alternative viewpoint on politics. But in the intro, these type of women will pretend that they're so open-minded, they're so good. In the public backlash that followed the essay, Trump demanded that NPR funding be cut. Despite his critique, Bernard said the funding was not the way to address the misstep he outlined. NPR's chief executive, less than a month, Catherine Marr, that's how I'm saying it, lashed out at the deeply simplistic, and profoundly disrespectful, hurtful, and demeaning essay without mentioning Bernliner's name. Crimea River, right? You liberal women want power, but then you don't want the cost that comes with power. Critiques. So this is what she said about it. Does that sound like someone who's open? I'm here to listen. And we all know that truth is subjective. Right? NPR CEO Catherine Meyer believes pursuit of truth is a distraction that can get in the way of getting things done. Getting things done in what way? Because this is how I've been saying. This is how these liberals think. They don't care about the truth, really. Sorry, leftists think. This is how leftists think. They don't care about the truth, really. They care about convincing you of their ideology. And they'll any means necessary. If they have to lie to you, shelter certain information away from you, I'm buying his laptop, discredit their opposition to get your trust, they'll do it, regardless if it's actually true or not. Trump hating, Biden supporting, BLM supporting NPR CEO pushes back against woke allegations. Right? This is the CEO of NPR. Publicly, was that National Public Radio? Right? But they don't represent the public at all. Is the public almost 78%, 98% Democrats? Hell no. Do they have independent journalists? No, they don't. But they're supposed to represent the public. Why are they state funded? Why are our tax dollars are funding an institution that's essentially liberal news? This is why I don't like government subsidizing businesses. NPR CEO Catherine Marr was eager to push back against allegations made by longstanding reporter Yuri Byline, pinning her own memo to all staff in response to his essay in the Free Press, claiming that the public-funded news outlet is irreparably biased. As she did, however, many on X dug into her social media and uncovered her leftist bias, including opposition to her own cis white mobility. Oh, you lost right there. You prove his point. If the CEO is pushing this kind of messaging, you don't think you don't think she'll create a culture behind the scenes that incentivize pushing this ideology? This person is a crazy racist, said Elon Musk in response to Marr's previous post. In the post pulled by Christopher Rufo, Marr said a lot of jokes about leaving U.S., and I get it, in response to a potential Trump second term in the White House. But as someone with cis white mobility privilege, I must have mobility privilege too, because I've never been having issues move to job, right? Like basic-ish. I don't know. These white liberals think it's some type of superpower. Oh my God, no one's able to do this. No one's able to jump job from job and make more money as they job to job. Make it make sense. Everyone knows that's the best way to make more money. Because when you jump, a job, staying at a job won't give you 15% raise. But if you jump to another job, you'll get a 50% raise. And this lady here is pretending it's like some superpower, like minorities can't do this. This is what I'm talking about. This is racism, bro. This is low bar racism. This is this, oh, black people, minorities are inferior to us. They can't do what we do, so we have to force the issue. We have to play God, as many people would say. Thomas Sowell would say, cosmic justice. You want to change reality. You want to try to bend reality to your will when that is outside of your capabilities. False promises. Appalling to hear a CNN election night anchor says no one expected Trump to do this when literally every election night disinfo prep calls with media network leadership game this scenario out. And remember what I said about how all these disinformation experts all lean left? Like I said, Democrats, y'all live in an ideological chamber. Y'all live in an echo chamber. And then y'all pretending y'all the most open mind. Oh, we read more sources of information than a conservative. Conservative only get their news from Fox News. I get my news from NBC, CNN, PBS, NPR. All institutions that also have an overwhelmingly liberal bias. But you're pretending to be objective. This is what I'm talking about. It's superficial. Right? Remember, this is a fairly recent one. X hit back at NPC News for pro-Nazi hit piece. This is what y'all are known for now. This is the digital media. This is why you guys are losing foot traffic. This is why people do not trust the mainstream media anymore. This is why you lose trust. Because you're sitting here trying to wear objectivity as a skin suit when you're really just pushing bias talking points, bias framings. Cutting out certain information and then pretending, oh, look, we stand on truth, we stand on facts, we stand on the science. But then when conservatives bring out the science, the actual science, not the science trademark political ideology, you want to try to ignore them. You don't want to cover them. This is what happened to Thomas Sowell. Learn from history, people. Learn from history. Thomas Sowell, one of the greatest, I think one of the best arguments that economists have from the conservative side. No one in college learned about them, but this is supposed to be our educated elite. Ridiculous. This is why I don't go to school. They say if you want to get a job, you get an education. You want to be wealthy, you get a self-education. And I'm not talking about wealth as in monetary wealth. I'm talking about knowledge, information wealth. Because no teacher can stop me from reading Thomas Sowell, Basic Economics, Discrimination and Disparities. They can't stop me from reading those books and having the knowledge that I have. And then when I go on to a college campus, and they want to debate maybe about economics, these are the same people that believe socialism can work. When history has not shown that to be the case yet. And every self-proclaimed socialist that said, oh, that's not real socialism. Their version of socialism isn't real socialism either. So what the socialists are telling me, they're all con artists. None of them can actually usher in socialism, but they're pretending that they can because they want power. Done. Simple. Socialism debunked. Socialist debunked. But they'll still sit here and pretend that they're going to be the ones to bring real socialism. When if I ask another socialist what real socialism is, they'll say your socialism ain't real socialism either. NPR's editor Yuri Belinar resigns with blast at new CEO. NPR, I had to cover it. NPR covering one of their own leaving the company, right? NPR senior business editor Yuri Belinar resigned this morning, citing the response of the network's chief executive to his outside essay accusing NPR of losing the public's trust. They did. This is verifiable evidence that you guys have lost the public trust. After resigning from NPR, a great American institution where I have worked for 25 years, Berliner wrote in an email to Kathleen Marr, I respect the integrity of my colleagues and wish for NPR to thrive and do important journalism, but I cannot work in a newsroom where I am disparaged by a new CEO whose divisive views confirm the very problem at NPR that I cited in my free press. Do you guys agree with him? I do. Right? I do. She comes out here, scolds him like a child. Oh, you're mean and disrespectful. Right? Everyone's mentioning how she had no. This is the point. It's deeply simplistic to assert that a diversity of American can be reduced to any particular set of belief. This is the criticism that he had. This is the deeply simplistic view that she said, and a faulty reasoning to infer that identity is determinative of one's own thoughts of political leanings. Marr claimed. Well, you guys think that this is the left thinking this. The left think this. The left think that because of your skin color, you're associated with a certain political leaning. For instance, as a black man, right? I never used that phrase in my life, but I'm using it right now. People consider that I must be a Democratic voter. And if I don't vote Democrat, if I don't lean left, somehow I'm going against my own best interest. Is that not a racist idea? But every leftist I know in my life, even she's saying the same thing. She want to play plausible deniability now because now it's hurting her. When they use diversity, all DEI is a barometer, a bureaucratic way of solidifying ideological dominance in a corporation. That's all it is. Because the groups they tend to pull from, the blacks, the Hispanics, majority of them tend to be Democrats. So if you're playing the odds, okay, as the workplace gets more diverse, this becomes more Democratic leaning. This becomes more liberal leaning. Our ideology will dominate the institution. This is communist tactics. DEI is communism at this point. All right, let's look at because I'm not going to read this stuff. So this is all the tweets that got exposed by NPR. She knows that being a hetero white woman voice, I was taught to do. I've done it, and it's disturbing. And is a disturbing recognition. While I don't recall ever using it, deliberately exposes another person to immediately physical harm on my own concept. So she's talking about how white women can't scream because if they scream, it brings violence and danger to minorities. This is the type of person that white liberal women, and this is a problem I have specifically with them. White liberal women pretend that their skin color gives them some kind of superpower in society. That no, it's not because of their own abilities that they make it into the world, right? Which is like common sense. No, it's because of their skin color and their genitalia. That's how they make it to the world. And in that concept, they're right because of corporate America. All these quotas to have female CEOs, female executives in these positions of power. That's probably why NPR put her as the new CEO, because they want to appear woke. Right. This is the kind of political thinking. 2 years ago, I made a comment to never step on the speaker's stage without talking about our climate crisis. NPR will have more credibility if they had someone in there with the reverse opinion about climate change, like I do. I believe climate change matters more than climate change. Climate change every year, right? We have 4 seasons for a reason. That's climate change. But we're not scared of it because we know we can adapt to it. So why they don't bring someone of the opposite opinion? Because remember, truth is subjective, right, Catherine? But she's pretending that, all the things I care about, no, those are objectively true. Those are not distractions. But then when there's an actual argument, hey, is climate change exaggerated? Oh, no. That's tricky. That's going to cause divisive disagreements because the other side can come with some facts. Oh, okay. You want to replace all our infrastructure with solar and wind? Here's the cost of doing that. We won't be able to produce the same amount of energy we did while relying on fossil fuels if we move to solar and wind. Solar and wind is overly cost ineffective. Oil is the most cheapest and the cheapest energy source for the cost possible. That's allowed us to use all this energy. If we switch to solar and wind, everyone's lifestyle will take a hit. Hotter weather is better for us than colder weather. So is global warming really a danger to us when the degree is only 1%, like one degree higher than before, and that's supposed to be the hottest year ever? We used to get stuff like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. That used to be our how hot our global warming is. But it becomes 1 degree hotter, and we're supposed to freak out over that? Over how many years? And we just hit the hottest year ever? 1 degree. This is why they don't specify things. Oh no, but it's messy. It's not. No, just believe what we wanted you to believe. That's what NPR and the left want you to do. This is why I said the left hates critical thinkers, and I'll stand on that. But let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Did Catherine Marr confirm exactly what Yuri Belanov accused NPR of being? A left-wing dominated bias institution being funded by taxpayer dollars? Do you agree with Donald Trump years ago when they came out and criticized Donald Trump under the guise of being objective, centrist, that he's this and that? And Trump's like, no, we should cut state funding from NPR. Do you agree with Trump now after this expose? Because I believe how she handled it, calling his remarks disrespectful, simplistic. She didn't really argue with the substance of what he was saying. It didn't even seem like she was even self-reflective or admit that anything that he's saying was true. And this is the kind of problem I think the left has in their ranks. And I think this is why they continue pushing transgenderism, why they continue pushing for open borders and all this stuff, because they really live in their own little bubble, especially when they themselves filter out their friend group of people with opposite political opinions. I honestly believe that people on the left are stuck in an echo chamber and they can't see outside of their own little clique. And they think everyone in the world sees these things the same way they do. Oh, how can anyone vote for Trump? Well, you kicked out all the people that would have told you the answer. But, I digress. Enough rambling from me. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.